What if I told you that the very drive that makes you successful is also the source of a hidden, corrosive anxiety that will eventually break you? You've followed the rules. You've worked harder than anyone you know. You've achieved the goals. So why does peace feel further away than ever? Why does every victory feel like a brief pause before the next wave of pressure hits? This is the high achiever's paradox, the silent affliction that the world doesn't see because it's masked by your success. Most men try to solve this by either pushing harder, which only deepens the anxiety, or by quoting ancient Stoics without understanding the underlying operating system. This video is different. We are not here to talk about history. We are here to install a new mental framework. Today, we uncover the Stoic secret to transforming that relentless, churning anxiety, not into complacency, but into a source of unshakable, tranquil power. This is the knowledge that separates the truly sovereign man from the perpetually striving one. Before we begin, a question for those who understand. Have you ever felt more anxious after achieving a major goal? Let me know in the comments. Let's be clear. The world you operate in is not the world of Marcus Aurelius. You are not facing down legions in Germania. You are facing 1,000 digital notifications, a culture of relentless comparison, and the constant internal demand to do more, be more, and achieve more. Hustle culture has sold you a lie that perpetual motion equals progress, and that rest is a form of weakness. This creates a unique psychological trap. Your brain becomes addicted to the chase, the dopamine hit of a new contract, a promotion, a successful launch. It's potent, but it is dangerously fleeting. And what replaces it? Not satisfaction, not peace. What replaces it is the low-grade hum of cortisol, the anxiety of what's next, the fear of losing what you've built, the pressure to maintain an impossible standard. This is the hedonic treadmill, amplified to the power of 10. You are running faster and faster just to feel the same. The external world applauds you. They see your success. They see the results. But internally, you feel the strain. You feel the fragility of it all. This is our emotional entry point. Not a weakness to be hidden, but a critical system error to be diagnosed and corrected. And the Stoics provided the diagnostic code thousands of years ago. Part 1. Deconstructing the anxiety. Let's begin with the high achiever's paradox. Your ambition is a double-edged sword. On one side, it is the engine of your progress. It carves a path through mediocrity. It builds empires. On the other side, it creates a mental prison. The bars of this prison are forged from one simple, powerful idea. I am not enough until I get the promotion, until I hit the revenue target, until I get the recognition. Each achievement is not a destination. It's just a new starting line. Move further down the track. This is the paradox. Your success doesn't bring you peace. It simply raises the stakes of the next game. The feeling of relief is immediately replaced by the anxiety of the next challenge. A Stoic understands this is not a personal failing. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of where value lies. You have outsourced your sense of inner peace to external outcomes. This is the foundational error that makes you powerful in the boardroom, but a servant to your own mind. To fix the machine, you must understand how it works. This is the neuroscience of ambition. When you pursue a goal, your brain is flooded with dopamine. This is the molecule of motivation, of more. It feels good. It drives you forward. But here is the critical part that most don't understand. Dopamine is not about the reward itself. It's about the anticipation of the reward. The moment you achieve the goal, the dopamine recedes. What rushes in to fill the void? Often it's cortisol, the stress hormone. Did I do enough? Can I do it again? What's next? You are living in a biological loop of craving, followed by a brief reward, followed by anxiety. You are, in effect, a dopamine addict, and your achievements are your fix. The Stoic approach is not to eliminate this drive. That would be impossible. The goal is to detach your internal state from this volatile chemical cycle. to find a source of stability that is not dependent on the next win. This leads us to the myth of arrival. Deep in the psyche of every high achiever is a destination, a mythical place where the work is done, the battles are won, and you can finally rest. When I sell the company, when I make my first million, when the kids are through college, then I will be at peace. This is the greatest lie you tell yourself. There is no there. There is no final arrival. This concept is a mirage in the desert of your ambition. Each time you reach the horizon, a new one appears. The man who pins his tranquility on a future event is doomed to a life of anxious waiting. The Stoic truth is radical and liberating. Peace is not a destination to be reached. It is a process to be practiced. Right here, right now, in the midst of the chaos. By accepting that the game never ends, you are freed from the anxiety of trying to win it. Instead, you can focus on playing it well, moment by moment. So where does this anxiety truly come from? It stems from a faulty measurement system. You are using an external validation scorecard. Your sense of worth, your emotional state, is tied to things you cannot fully control. The opinion of your boss, the fluctuations of the market, the approval of your peers, the number of likes on a post. This makes your internal world incredibly fragile. A single negative comment, a deal falling through, a competitor's success, any of these can shatter your peace. You have built a psychological skyscraper on a foundation of sand. The Stoic alternative is to cultivate an internal scorecard. This scorecard has only one metric. Did I act with virtue? Did I do my best with what was within my control? Was I disciplined, courageous, just, and wise? When this becomes your measure of success, you become invincible. The world can rage outside, but your self-worth remains untouched because it is based on your actions, not on the echoes they produce. Now, let's name the core fear that drives this entire engine, the fear of stagnation. For a high achiever, the idea of standing still is equivalent to death. Your identity is wrapped up in progress, in momentum, in forward movement. If I'm not growing, I'm dying. This belief, while a powerful motivator, is also a source of immense chronic anxiety. It denies you permission to ever be content. It turns rest into a source of guilt. It makes every plateau feel like a personal failure. Your greatest strength, your drive to improve, becomes your greatest weakness when it is ungoverned. A Stoic doesn't fear stagnation. He understands the seasons of life. There are times for explosive growth, and there are times for consolidation, reflection, and quiet strength. He knows that true progress is not always linear. Sometimes the most powerful move is to stand still, to reinforce your foundation, to deepen your roots. He transforms the fear of stagnation into an appreciation for stability. Part 2. The flawed modern approach. We live in an era that worships a toxic philosophy. Let's call it the poison of hustle culture. This ideology tells you that your value as a man is directly proportional to your productive output. It glorifies burnout as a badge of honor. Sleep is for the weak. Rise and grind. Outwork everyone. This is not a philosophy of strength. It is a philosophy of desperation. It is the mindset of a hamster on a wheel, mistaking motion for progress. It creates a life that is wide but not deep. It encourages you to sacrifice your health, your relationships, and your inner peace on the altar of achievement. The Stoic path is the antithesis of this. Stoicism is about deliberate, focused, and purposeful action, not frantic, anxious activity. It is about working hard on the things that matter and cultivating an indifference to the things that do not. Hustle culture is slavery. Stoicism is freedom. Another flawed tool many men reach for is the emptiness of positive thinking. You are told to visualize success, to manifest your goals, to repeat affirmations that you are a winner. While intention is important, this approach has a critical flaw, especially for an anxious mind. It creates a fragile dependence on feeling good. It teaches you to fear and suppress negative thoughts and potential obstacles. When reality inevitably deviates from your perfect visualization, your mental framework shatters. You are unprepared for adversity. The Stoic, by contrast, practices the opposite. He does not just visualize success, he meticulously visualizes failure. He thinks about what could go wrong, the deal falling through, the product launch failing, the public criticism. This is not pessimism, it is strategic preparation. By rehearsing failure in his mind, he strips it of its power to surprise and derail him. He builds resilience, not fragility. But the most dangerous modern flaw is the misuse of Stoicism itself. Many men hear Stoic and think it means emotionless robot. They interpret it as an instruction to suppress their feelings, to suck it up, man up, and ignore the anxiety, the anger, the sadness. This is a profound and damaging misinterpretation. Stoicism is not about the absence of emotion. It is about the non-judgment of emotion. A Stoic feels the same flash of anxiety as anyone else when a project is at risk. The difference is what happens next. The untrained man identifies with the anxiety. I am anxious. The Stoic observes it. A sensation of anxiety is present. He sees it as an external impression, not an internal truth. He interrogates it. Is this event within my control? Suppressing emotion is like holding a beach ball underwater. It takes immense energy, and eventually it will explode to the surface with even greater force. The Stoic way is to let the ball float, to observe it, and to let it drift away on its own. Part 3. The Stoic Operating System. If there is one tool, one mental model that can change everything, it is this: the dichotomy of control. This is the foundation upon which all Stoic practice is built. The concept is brutally simple. In any situation, some things are within your control and some things are not. Within your control are your thoughts, your judgments, your actions, your effort, and your character. Outside of your control are everything else: the economy, the weather, other people's opinions, the outcome of your efforts. The high achiever's anxiety is born from a single fatal mistake: focusing his energy and emotional investment on the things he cannot control. He obsesses over the outcome. The Stoic obsesses over the input. He pours 100% of his effort into his actions and then accepts the outcome with equanimity, whatever it may be. This is not passive. It is the ultimate source of power and tranquility. It is the act of focusing your entire being only on the territory you command, your own mind. Now we move from theory to a practical, powerful exercise. Premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. This is the Stoic secret weapon against anxiety and fear. Most people spend their lives avoiding negative thoughts. The Stoic intentionally spends time each morning contemplating what could go wrong during the day. I may have to deal with an incompetent colleague. I may lose a major client. I may face public criticism. He doesn't just think about it. He visualizes it in detail. How would it feel? What would be the consequence? And most importantly, how would I respond with virtue and composure? This practice does two things. First, it vaccinates you against the shock of adversity. When something bad happens, you are not surprised, you are prepared. Second, it cultivates gratitude. After contemplating the loss of your health, your job, your relationships, you return to the present moment with a profound appreciation for what you still have. You are rehearsing for life's difficulties in the safe gymnasium of your mind, building an invincible spirit. This leads to one of the most advanced and misunderstood Stoic concepts: amor fati, the love of one's fate. This is not passive resignation. It is an active, enthusiastic embrace of reality, exactly as it is. It is the mindset that says, whatever happens, I will not just endure it, I will love it. I will treat it as if I had chosen it myself. Why is this an unfair advantage for a high achiever? Because it transforms every obstacle into an opportunity. Did a key employee just quit? An opportunity to restructure for the better. Did a major project fail? An opportunity to learn a critical lesson no book could teach. Did you face an unfair setback? an opportunity to practice courage and resilience. The man who practices amor fati cannot be defeated, because every event, good or bad, becomes fuel for his fire. He is no longer fighting against reality, he is dancing with it. This is the shift from an anxious striver who needs things to go his way to a tranquil master who makes his way no matter what. Your mind, like your body, adapts to the resistance it faces. This is the principle behind voluntary discomfort. The modern world is engineered for comfort, climate control, food delivery, instant entertainment. This constant comfort makes you mentally and emotionally soft. It lowers your threshold for pain and frustration. A minor inconvenience like a slow internet connection can trigger genuine anger and stress. The Stoic intentionally introduces small, controlled doses of discomfort into his life to forge a mind that thrives under pressure. Take a cold shower, skip a meal, sleep on the floor for a night, choose the stairs instead of the elevator. These are not acts of self-punishment. They are training exercises. Each time you willingly choose a harder path, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious mind. I am in control. I am not a slave to my impulses. I can handle hardship. When real, involuntary hardship arrives, your mind is not shocked. It is ready. It has been trained for this. Anxiety thrives on a narrow perspective. When you are caught in a problem, it can feel all-consuming, like the most important thing in the world. The Stoic antidote is a mental exercise called the view from above. It is a practice of radical perspective shifting. In your mind, you begin to zoom out. You see yourself in your room, then you see your building, your neighborhood, your city. You zoom out further, seeing your country from space, a patchwork of lights on a continent. You see the earth, a tiny blue marble suspended in the vast, silent blackness of space. You see the solar system, the galaxy, the billions of other galaxies. From this vantage point, you look back at your problem, the stressful deadline, the argument you had, the financial worry. How significant does it seem now? This exercise doesn't dismiss your problems, it contextualizes them. It breaks the obsessive loop of anxiety by reminding you of the sheer scale of existence. It shrinks your perceived catastrophes down to their true, manageable size. The mind of a high achiever is a noisy place. It is filled with plans, worries, ambitions, and self-criticism. To gain control, you must first gain clarity. This is why the Stoics considered journaling as a weapon. This is not a Dear Diary exercise. It is a ruthless, daily self-interrogation. At the end of each day, you open a notebook and answer 3 questions as Seneca advised. 1. What bad habit did I curb today? 2. What virtue did I practice? 3. How can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice forces you to move from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver. It makes you an objective observer of your own thoughts and behaviours. It reveals your patterns of anxiety and irrationality. You are putting your own mind on trial every single night. Over time, this practice builds a level of self-awareness that is a superpower. You stop reacting to life on autopilot and start responding with deliberate, conscious intent. There is no tool for focus more powerful than the contemplation of your own mortality. This is memento mori. Remember you will die. In our culture, death is a subject to be avoided, a morbid and unpleasant thought. For the Stoic, it is the ultimate motivator and clarifier. Reminding yourself that your time is finite, that the clock is ticking, is the fastest way to cut through the trivialities that cause you anxiety. Will this thing I'm worrying about matter on my deathbed? Is this argument worth a precious hour of my limited time? Is this pursuit of external validation truly how I want to spend my finite energy? Memento mori is not about being morbid. It is about being radically alive. It strips away the non-essential. It forces you to define your true priorities. For the high achiever, it is the ultimate filter, distinguishing between ambition that serves your purpose and ambition that merely feeds your ego. All these practices are designed to build one thing, the inner citadel. This is a metaphor used by Marcus Aurelius for a mental fortress, a place within your mind that is impregnable to external events. No matter what chaos rages outside, a market crash, a personal betrayal, a public failure, the inner citadel remains calm, secure, and in your command. This fortress is not built overnight. It is constructed brick by brick with every Stoic practice. Every time you choose your response over your reaction, you add a brick. Every time you practice the dichotomy of control, you reinforce the walls. Every time you endure voluntary discomfort, you train the gods. Your anxiety is a symptom of living with an undefended mind. You are exposed to every passing opinion, every setback, every fear. The goal of Stoicism is to provide you with the blueprint and the tools to construct a fortress so strong that you can face any storm, not with anxiety, but with a calm and profound sense of security. This brings us to the ultimate reframe, the keystone of the entire Stoic structure: virtue as the sole good. For the high achiever, good is typically defined by externals: wealth, status, awards, recognition. The Stoics argue that these things are not good or bad. They are indifferents. They are preferable to have, but they have no bearing on your worth as a human being or your capacity for a good life. The only true good is virtue. The only true bad is vice. Virtue means living up to your highest potential as a rational social being. It means acting with courage, discipline, justice, and wisdom. When you make this cognitive shift, the entire game changes. Your anxiety, which is rooted in the fear of losing indifference, evaporates. You can still pursue wealth and success, but you do so with a light touch, without the desperate, anxious attachment. Your primary goal is no longer to win the game, but to play your part virtuously. This is the final key to unlocking real, lasting peace. Part 4. Integration and Mastery. So what does this look like in practice? We must now define the Stoic high achiever. This is not a man who has given up his ambition. On the contrary, his ambition is now purified. It is no longer a neurotic chase for validation. It is a focused, purposeful drive to express his virtues in the world. He still aims to build the company, create the masterpiece, or lead the team. But his reasons are different. He does it not because he needs the outcome to feel whole, but because the act of striving, of applying his skills and discipline, is in itself a virtuous and fulfilling act. His success is measured by the quality of his effort, not the applause of the crowd. He is more effective than his anxious counterpart because his mind is not clouded by fear of failure or attachment to success. He is clear, focused, and playing a different game, an inner game that he can always win. To make this real, you need a daily framework. This is the shift from anxious striving to purposeful action. Your day is no longer a random series of reactions. It is a structured practice. In the morning, you perform your premeditatio malorum. Prepare for the challenges ahead. During the day, you constantly apply the dichotomy of control. Is this in my power or not? You focus only on your actions, your effort, your response. You treat every interaction as an opportunity to practice a virtue: patience, understanding, courage. When you feel the familiar surge of anxiety, you do not suppress it. You pause, you observe it. You apply the view from above to shrink it down to size. In the evening, you open your journal and conduct your self-review. This is your new operating system. It is not a quick fix. It is a lifelong practice. It is the conscious, deliberate craft of a superior character. Finally, we must acknowledge the final test. The old anxiety will return. You will have a major setback. You will face intense pressure. The old mental habits, the old attachments to outcomes, will try to reassert themselves. This is not a sign of failure. It is the final test of your training. This is the moment where you get to prove that your inner citadel is real. When the storm hits, you will feel the initial shock, the fear, the anger, but you will not be swept away. Because you have trained for this, you will take a breath. You will apply the dichotomy of control. You will ask, what is in my power right now? You will focus on the next virtuous action, no matter how small, and you will realize that you are no longer the man who is battered by fortune. You are the man who uses fortune, good or bad, as raw material to forge his own character. This is the ultimate victory. This is true peace. So we arrive at the core truth. The hidden anxiety of the high achiever does not come from the ambition itself. It comes from a profound attachment to outcomes that are, and always will be, outside of your complete control. You have been trying to command the wind and the waves, and it has exhausted you. The great Stoic secret to real peace is not to abandon the ship. It is to focus only on steering it well. True power, the kind that cannot be taken from you, is not about achieving everything you want. It is about wanting nothing that is not a product of your own will. It is about desiring only to act with virtue, with excellence, with character. This is your inner citadel. This is your unshakable foundation. You are the architect of your internal world. The fortress stands or falls by your command. The anxiety is a signal, not a sentence. It is a call to begin the great work of building a mind that is free. Thank you for dedicating your valuable time to this exploration. Your attention is the most precious currency you have, and I'm grateful you chose to invest it here. If this resonated with you on a deep level, subscribe and join this community of men who are committed to this work. This is just the beginning. And now, a final question for you to take forward. What is the one outcome you will consciously practice releasing your attachment to this week? Declare it in the comments below. Make it real.